Hello everyone. Today I'd like to talk about the basics of network cabling. I think you've all seen this kind of LAN cables before. The end of this cable looks like this, and this cable is frequently used as communication cables for computers. This cable is very short, but generally 1 meter or 2 meters cable are sold in stores. Later, we will have a hands-on session, so you are going to make LAN cables by your hands. Today I'll also talk about the other type of cable called optical cable. As I said, we took two types of cables, LAN cables and optical cable. This is the LAN cable. As you can see at the end, this cable has connectors like this. Please look at this carefully. You can see there are 8 cables and gold copper wire at the edge. These 8 parts are literally an electrical connection and enable computer to communicate with each other. There are 8 physical copper wires between these two connectors in this cable. Later in the hands-on session, we will check the architecture in the cable without connectors, but actually there are 8 copper cables in whole cables. Also later, you will actually attach the connectors on the end of cables, but beforehand, please acknowledge these connectors are called RJ45. I think you have already used this kind of LAN cables, so you are familiar with these cables. Also, I'll skip the details, but there exist categories of LAN cables. The category is a standard defining the stability of communication according to the cable structures. The communication speeds are also depending on this category, so the category is important. Next, I'll talk about other type of cable, optical cables. When Japanese imagine optical communication, what comes to mind for them is a communication service called Red Hikari. This is a type of fiber optic line that is connected between their home and the internet. As benefit of optical cables, it is possible to use multiple wavelengths of light in single cables for multiple transmissions, or different from electric-based LAN cables, interference is unlikely to occur and very stable communication is possible using this optical cable. However, due to the difficulty of the light junction surface, we cannot make this cable by our hand at present. Actually, this can be divided into 2 parts, left and right. There is a claw-like part here and you can eject by pressing it. You will hear a click sound and you can remove it. This is how to eject the cable. The metal side is called module and the other side is called cable. I don't think you'll be using this very often, but there is something you should know. These were attached earlier, but now they are removed from each other. You can see the white cord here. This is exactly where the light passes. As the light passes through the white cord, the corresponding light passes through the opposite module in the same way. When these junction surfaces are perfectly aligned, light can pass through correctly and enable communications. Therefore, it is not good if this joint surface is dirty. So periodically, or when the communication situation becomes bad, we will polish both sides. Fiber side and module side. Please polish them. Normally, you cannot see the dirty visually. I said you do not often use this, but there is one more thing I want to know. Now this is completely unconnected on both sides, so there is nothing wrong with it. However, if one side of module is actually connected, the light will actually leak out from the other side. Of course, the same is true when the module is attached by itself. Light is leaking out from the inside here and from the tips of cords here. Unfortunately, this light is non-visible light. Thus, if you look at this light, especially if you look at it for a long time, you may go blind or hurt your eyes. If you find one side unconnected, please check if the other side is also unconnected. It is very important to make sure that the light is not leaking out and keeping your safety. As I said earlier, when the connection surface gets dirty, we have something like this in our laboratory. Actually, this is imported from overseas, but it is a product made by NTT, the famous company in Japan. First, to use this, let's take off the cap. There are two levels of cap, but I will explain later. Let's take off all the caps. Now it takes a while to get them off, but this is how to remove the caps. When you push it like this, an optical fiber-like things will come out from the top while rotating. First of all, when you use this to polish the module sides, you stick the sides that pop out when you push it. Then push them like this. Because the module has two connections, now I did the same things twice. This is how to polish the module. On the other hand, I'll explain the way to polish the fibers. As we checked before, this cap has two levels. Remove only the first cap only like this. And when the cap is removed, you can stick the fiber top like this. Then push the polisher to polish the fibers. Now I push it 3 times, but in fact, you don't need to do it 3 times. This is how to polish the fibers. Now both fibers and the module are clean. Next, I'll talk about the usage of them. When you stick the cable into the module, you can hear a click sound. Now module and cable are connected. Then now you can use it by sticking the whole module into the switch or something like this. This is a way to connect module into switches. Next, let's remove them. If the module is attached to the switch or something like that, pull out the optical cable first. As we checked at the beginning, push the claw-like part until you hear a click sound and pull it out. Now we've unplugged the optical cable successfully. This side is still connected to the switch, so there is a light coming out from here that we can't see. Now you can see there is a lever here. When you pull the lever like this, the module unlocks from the switch, and you can pull it out from the switch. Now you've successfully pulled it out. This is a basic manner of using our optical cable and modules. Today we have only a hands-on session for LAN cables, but I'd like you to know about this optical cable as well. The module is very difficult to understand and there are many different types. Some of them can store up to 100 GB and so on. I'm not going to talk about these details today, so if you are interested in, I'd like you to look at the additional materials. This is the end of the first half of today's material. In this video, I explained the basics of LAN cables and optical cables. In the next video, I'll show you how to make a LAN cable with hands-on experience. Please look forward to the hands-on. See you in the next video. Bye!